Have you ever wondered why your lo-fi mixes sound disconnected, like all your instruments are playing in different rooms? The secret isn't a new plugin, it's bus processing, and in this episode I'll show you how to glue your mix together so everything feels warm, cohesive and alive.
You're listening to the LoFi Music Academy podcast, your go-to space for all things lo-fi. Sit back, relax, and let's dive into the world of lo-fi music production.
Hi, and welcome to the LoFi Music Academy podcast. I'm Spencer J, your guide through the chilled out, atmospheric world of lo-fi beats. Today we're diving into something that might sound a little technical at first, but trust me, once you get the hang of it, it will completely change the way your mixes feel. So we're going to be talking about gluing your mix with bus processing. If you've ever wondered why your beats sound like a collection of parts instead of one finished song, bus processing is often that missing ingredients. It's that step that ties everything together and makes your track feel like a vibe rather than a bunch of instruments just stacked up on top of each other. So in this episode, I'm going to break down what bus processing is, why it's so important for lo-fi producers, and the essential tools that you can use to glue your mix together. And I'll give you some practical tips that you can try in your DAW today. So let's get into it. Okay, so let's start simple. What is a bus? Think of a bus as a group track. Instead of putting an EQ or a compressor on every single instrument individually, you send them all to a bus. That way you can process them together. Imagine you've got your drums, for example your kick, snare, hats and some percussion. Instead of mixing them all separately with compression, you can route them to a drum bus and then you process the whole group so the drums feel like they're more one unit. The same goes for instruments, vocals and effects, and even your whole track. When you apply gentle processing to a bus, you glue those sounds together, which makes them feel like they belong in that same sonic world. Without bus processing, your mix can feel disconnected, but with it, everything gels together nicely. Now, why is glue so important, especially in lo-fi? Lo-fi music is all about vibe and cohesion. It's not about perfect clarity or sparkling hi-fi detail. It's about making the track feel like it was all recorded in the same dusty room, on that same old cassette tape, or in that same moment. And bus processing helps us get that cohesive, warm together feeling. For example, your drums will sound like they're coming from the same kit. Your chords, bass and melodies feel more like one performance. And the whole track has a consistent vibe, not just separate parts stacked up on each other. Think of it like you're making soup. The ingredients are fine on their own, but bus processing is the simmer that blends all those flavours together. Okay, so what tools can you use to glue your mix together? Let's break down the essentials. Firstly, EQ. A gentle EQ on a bus can balance your frequencies across the whole group. For example, rolling off a little high end on your drum bus can make your hat sit more smoothly with your snare. Next, compression. Now this is the classic glue tool, and a bit of light bus compression. It just ties those sounds together by controlling the dynamics across the whole group. Think of it as just a little gentle squeeze, not a choke. For lo-fi, keep it really subtle, maybe about 1 or 2 dB of gain reduction. And don't forget about saturation and tape emulation. This adds harmonics and warmth. And running your instrument bus through a tape plugin or gentle saturation, it makes it sound like everything was printed to that same old tape machine. And next you've got a bit of touch of reverb or some room tone. And adding a touch of shared reverb on a bus can make elements feel like they're all living in that same space. But you have to be really careful here. Subtlety really is the key. And lastly, you've got some sidechain or ducking. Sometimes sidechaining the bus instead of individual instruments creates a more natural breathing effect. For example, ducking your entire instrument bus just slightly every time that kick drum hits. Now, you don't need to use all of these effects all the time, but even just EQ and gentle compression on a bus could transform your mix from feeling a bit disconnected to feeling more cohesive and warm. Let's talk about some practical bus setups that you can use in your own projects. Firstly, the drum bus. Route all of your drums here, add a light bit of compression and maybe a little saturation just to really make them feel unified as a group. Next, set up an instrument bus. Group your chords, pads, bass, and any melodic instruments here, and EQ out clashing frequencies and add a touch of tape warmth. Next, an effects bus. Sometimes it's nice to route all ambience and effects like vinyl crackle or rain sounds and reverbs into their own bus. You can then control their volume and EQ all in one place. And next you've got your mix bus or your master bus. Finally, the master bus glues the whole track together. This is where you might add subtle compression, EQ or tape emulation just to create a really finished vibe. And by separating buses like this, you gain both control and cohesion of your mix. Now let me give you some quick warnings, the mistakes that I see when using bus processing. Firstly, overcompressing. If your drum bus is squashed, your beat will lose all its dynamics and just feel lifeless. So you've got to be really careful. Subtlety really is key here. Next is too much saturation. Saturation is great, but if you crank it up too much, your mix is going to get muddy really, really fast. And also duplicating effects everywhere. Don't put a heavy reverb on every single instrument. Instead, send them all to one reverb bus. This keeps things coherent that way. And the other is just skipping using buses altogether. Processing everything separately, which then means your mix never really gels together. So the key is really just to keep it light and keep it intentional. Okay, so here's some practical tips that you can try today. Firstly, set up a drum bus and add 1 or 2 dB of compression. Listen to how the kit feels tighter but still natural. Next, put a tape plug-in on your instrument bus. This way you're going to add instant lo-fi warmth. Next, route your ambient sounds to one bus and EQ out the lows so that they don't muddy up your mix. And remember to always A/B. This is turning your bus processing on and off. If it sounds better, stick with it. If not, strip it back or change it completely. These little changes really add up, and before you know it, your track will feel glued and professional. Okay, so there you have it, bus processing, the secret sauce to gluing your lo-fi mixes together. But remember, it's not about heavy processing, it's about subtle moves that make your sounds belong together. EQ, compression, saturation, reverb, all used with a really light touch. Next time you're working on a track, try grouping your instruments into buses and applying a bit of glue. You'll be surprised at how much more cohesive and professional your beats sound. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider subscribing, leaving a review, or sharing it with fellow music producers who might find it useful. Until next time, keep creating, stay inspired, and remember, it's all about the vibe. Take care and see you in the next episode.
Thanks for tuning in to the LoFi Music Academy podcast. If you're ready to start making lo-fi music and want to go even deeper, grab your free guide. Discover the 6 essential steps to create a release-ready lo-fi track from scratch. Whether you're using budget gear in your bedroom or a small home studio, this guide will help you get that polished, dreamy lo-fi sound you're after. Just go to www.lofimusicacademy.com. Until next time, keep creating those laid-back vibes, and don't forget to subscribe for more lo-fi tips and tricks.